going to try to inject a single air bubble inside. And it turns out it's more difficult than what you think. You make the bubble, and it gets about 15 millimeters in diameter, and it crawls down the side of the Teflon cannula, and it just doesn't want to behave the way you had hoped it would. It behaves the way it wants to, and it doesn't necessarily behave the way you want it to. And so you end up with this bubble that's kind of stuck on the side, and oftentimes it's hard just to get a single bubble. And now you want to put some more air in that bubble, you end up with two bubbles. So this whole process didn't seem to be quite as easy as I had hoped it would be. And so now you're trying to push two bubbles together to get them to pop and make one. And eventually you can figure out how to force the two to get together. You can end up making a bubble. But now this bubble doesn't want to sit in the center of the sphere. It likes to sit over to the side. And here I think this bubble has somehow figured out that there's that wire frame through the meniscus, and it just doesn't want to get off of that wire frame. Now eventually we figured out another technique where we get the water in the sphere rotating, and we use the radial acceleration forces to hold the bubble on the end of the cannula. And using this technique, we found you can make a bubble almost any size you want. It stays a nice single bubble, and it tends to stay centered in the sphere due to the fluid dynamic forces associated with the rotation. And here we're going to do it again, looking straight down from the top instead of to the side. You can see you blow, instead of making all these little fragmented bubbles that go to the side, you just blow one single nice bubble, and it tends to stay more or less centered in the sphere. So it took a while to figure out how to get this done. And now here we have a bubble inside of a sphere, and it's sat for about 5 or 10 minutes, so all the fluid motion is damped down. You can see that the bubble is changing the optical power of the lens so that you can see the wire hoop through the image formed with the bubble inside of the water sphere.